Hey, happy spring. We made it through the winter. It is officially spring. And I pulled together a collective reading to inspire us and encourage us for the next 3 months till we get to the summer solstice. And the place where we're emerging from is one of quiet. We spent a winter in kind of a cone of silence where we were detaching emotionally from a lot of the stress that had built up through 2020. And it's not to say that it stopped. Of course, we know we've all witnessed what the beginning of 2021 has been like. And so it continues, but we, I think, emotionally pulled inward for the winter, and we got a little bit ruthless about cutting some things out that we needed to cut out. We just needed to focus our energy to go inward and do a little bit of healing to refresh us a little bit to continue moving on this path, which is a difficult one. And I'll talk about where the message is going for the next 3 months. But that pulling inward of our energy served a lot of purposes. And one was to remind us of where we have power to control outcomes. And that's really ourselves. We can't control how other people act, how they show up, how they care for the world around them. And I think, myself included, a lot of us spent a lot of energy in 2020 wanting to reach out and pull other people in to hear what we were hearing. And I think through the winter, we've been kind of guided to pull back and recenter on ourselves and the actions that we can control. And not only that, but also I think there was a need to pull back from some of the interactions we might have been having with others because of almost like almost like poisoning us a little bit. All of the hate and vitriol that we were seeing out in the world started to wrap its ugly tentacles around us and choke the life out of us and the joy out of us. And it was an act of self-preservation, and as I said, to replenish us, to really pull our energy in. We're also, though, it can be empowering to understand that I can't make other people care, but if I use that energy that I was trying to pull others in to refocus on my own actions and what I'm doing and how I'm showing up, and to make how I'm showing up even stronger, that might be a better and more empowering use of our energy right now. So through the winter, we kind of pulled in, centered ourselves, and as the spring continues forward, we will feel a little bit of a little more wind in our sails, a little pick-me-up, and motivation to keep moving. And it will serve us to continue to think about, to center our actions and our thoughts on how we're showing up and who we are being in the world, and remembering who we really are. And one of the challenges that we may face in the next few months is that we will continue to see and we will continue to be shown where we were either in self-deception or where others around us may have been deceptive. And the way that I was reading this, it started to resonate with me more in the sense of the reflections that are coming forward on the white supremacy culture and how embedded in our lives that is, those characteristics are, and the ways that we have benefited, especially or solely as white people. So as a white person, and white people may continue to be shown ways that we have benefited from a system of oppression that we may not have fully been aware of, or aware of to this degree prior to this movement that we're in right now. And the guidance is to come at this with the understanding that we are clearing out what we're not going to bring with us. And I keep having these reflections about our generation, and I don't really think I mean like an age group per se, but rather if you're in this struggle, if you know what I'm talking about, if you're with me on this, our generation has been asked and tasked with holding this moment and allowing ourselves to see finally what many, many generations before us have fought not to see. And it is absolutely heartbreaking and difficult. It's shattering our sense of identities and who we thought we were in the story, in the narrative. It's changing our role quite a lot. And it, viewed in one way, it could be really discouraging and can be really hard. But viewed in another way, I feel as though it's quite an honor and quite a testament to who we are, that we have been chosen to hold this moment. If you're here, if you're doing it, whatever it looks like, if it's sloppy and horrible and there are shitty days, that's it. You're doing it. There's no doing it wrong. We're doing it by being here and by tuning in and not tapping out, basically. So the spring will continue to bring us illumination on these things. So I'm reading it as that collective that we're experiencing, the continuation of the reckoning of racial injustice in America, basically. But this can also play out on the personal level simultaneously. So if there are ways that you have been in self-deception, not quite seeing your behavior and some of the things that you do that might hurt the people around you, you may have the opportunity to be shown some of that this quarter. And the guidance is really, again, to look at this through the lens of we're clearing out all the bullshit that we're not taking with us, because we are continuing on our path to paradise, to a better world, a better society, and we're not taking any of this with us. We will not take it with us. It can't come with us. So even though, yeah, of course we wish this part were over and that we had already done this hard work, we haven't. And this is another quarter where we're called to do this work and to hold this space. And this is our sacred, honored duty to do for humanity. And so more than signing any petition or calling any legislator, although if you're called to do those things, please do them. But more than even all of that, how can we call to us the truth of who we really are and who we have been and the ways that we have participated in these systems of oppression? How can we do that? And the silence that we've had and the pause that we took in the winter is going to serve us and help us with this, because we are more attuned to ourselves and our own inner truth now than we've ever been. And so it's possible in this moment to allow the paradox to play out. Yes, I have been a part of this. Yes, I have benefited from this. Yes, I have hurt others through my ignorance of all of this. And also, I am a heart willing and able to hold this truth, to heal this truth, and to help the human collective move forward. And that is a mighty gift and responsibility and task and everything. So if we say yes, if we call forward these truths, we may be shown things that are hard. We're going to hold them and know that we're moving forward through them, that seeing them is part of healing them. And by the time we get to the summer solstice, we will be called to, and we really have exercised this ability to have compassion and forgiveness for ourselves and for others, and to not want to leave anybody behind. And that's difficult because depending on how folks are showing up, that can be difficult. But there may be a bit of humility that comes to us through this quarter that helps us and encourages us and forces us really to have compassion, because what choice do you have when you see your own darkness? How do you hold it except with compassion? So that's that's the direction that we're moving toward through this quarter. And again, if you need inspiration to keep showing up like this because it's difficult, just know that every piece of truth that you are given, every new angle by which you are helped to see yourself and others and your past and the places that you've come from, you are helping to balance the scales and to bring justice into the world. And it's birthed through you and through your efforts. So it's not for naught. It's very important work, but it's difficult. And I hope that you will keep showing up for it and just know what a service you're doing for future generations. We're not bringing this forward with us. It stops here with us. So that's the service that we're all in the midst of. And it's difficult, but it's beautiful. And I'm sending you a lot of love for the spring. I hope you're well.